Alright. Alright, y'all. Make sure motherfuckers like, share, subscribe, tune into the channel each and every day, man. I'm trying to hop back into these reactions, get the channel going. Still got some updates to do, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take care of them tonight in morning time. Also, happy 4th of July as well, man. Today we're gonna be reacting to two disturbing horror story animations. This is YouTube and Dark Web. This is from MJV Animations. Let's hop into it. I got me some what is this? I got me some ice cream cake right here. You know what I'm saying? We just go ahead, hop into it. It's like 1 in the morning right now. So.
I'm a drug user.
Not a
I'll admit it.
setup.
Weed is my usual go-to.
Right.
But I buy that off my friend. Okay. If I want to get something a little heavier, however, like acid or coke, I just order it off the dark web. It's surprisingly simple.
This is my thing. A couple shots, which I don't do the liquor all like that, but I do the liquor, you know, socially or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Get you a couple shots, man. Like, that's the worst thing that I'll go to. You know what I'm saying? Get you a couple shots. Buy you a little, buy you a cooler, a case of coolers or something, wine coolers. Do something like that, man. Sip on some wine and smoke you some weed, bro. Me personally, I don't need nothing else that's fucking. I don't need nothing else that's fucking heavier. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna be fucking dead. This weed already be having me stop. I don't understand. Listen to me, y'all. Y'all comment down below, man. I understand. I don't want to get all into, you know, drug addictions and shit like that. I'm just saying, what is weed in a couple shots? Weed alone, but weed in a couple shots, that's enough for me. You know what I'm saying? It takes me to where the fuck I need to be. What is further than that? I don't need to be no further than what the fuck. Like, let me just go ahead and just hop into this shit.
A few clicks, some Bitcoin transfers, and boom, I have acid in my P.O. box. But I'm also a curious guy. The dark web has always intrigued me.
Right.
Up until a few days ago. I had only been on there to buy drugs off sites some of my friends gave me. But late one night, I was sober and at home, which was a rare thing for me. So, since I was bored, I decided to boot up my Tor browser and try and see what sort of messed up stuff I could find on the dark web.
Right.
If you've ever been on the dark web, you'll know that you can't just search up red rooms or Hitman for Hire and get results. No, you have to find links to these websites first. So I hop back on Google in an attempt to find some links to some messed up websites. I know it's weird that I was actively searching for the worst, but as soon as I got on the dark web that night, I had this weird sense of morbid curiosity that overcame me. Anyway, I spent a little while trying to find some links.
I don't want to keep stopping this, but like I'm just gonna say this real quick. I always thought myself, like, man, let me go ahead on the dark web and just see, because I like to see shit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to do no crazy shit. I don't want to go to. I know my limits. You know what I'm saying? They have some pictures on there and they have some videos on there that are not, they could be cursed and shit like that. So I wouldn't go that far, but I've always been curious to what's on there, and if I want to see something, anything, you know what I'm saying, whether it's a brutal fight, that's what I really be wanting to see, like brutal fights and, you know what I mean, but police brutality and shit like that. I don't want to see it, but it's just like, it's reality, you know what I'm saying? So that's something I would want to see, you know what I'm saying? I really don't want, I've seen murders too on some shit, but it's like, you know, in Brazil or some shit like that, I've seen shit on video, not from dark web, but I've seen shit, and that's enough, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know what's deeper than that, you know what I'm saying? How deep can you go? I don't know. I'm sorry for talking. Like I said, it's late. Let me go ahead and hop into this shit. I don't know.
Links, but anything that I found was either too tame for me or the links didn't even work.
Right.
At this point, I was ready to give up, but in one final attempt, I clicked on Reddit. I hopped on r/deepweb, but I didn't think I would find anything. I scrolled through the hot option for about half an hour before sorting to new, and that's when I found it.
What? What did you find?
One simple text post titled Slayer's Assassination and Life-Ruining Services. The text box of the post was what seemed to be a random assortment of numbers and letters. It took my tired brain a second to figure out what it was, but I realized pretty quickly it was a link, presumably to a Hitman website. So I decided to paste the link into my dark web browser, and what do you know? It worked. But Before I decided to go any further, I figured I should go back to the profile to see if they had posted any other dark web links.
Right.
But when I went back to the post in question, the profile was deleted. Weird. Anyway, I reopened the dark web and hopped onto the site. Up along the top of the website was its name, Slayer's Assassination and Life-Ruining Services. And next to it was what looked to be a skull inside of a crosshair. I chuckled when I saw it. I figured the site must have been fake.
Right, it looked like a little
However,
cheesy.
I was not disappointed. There was a paragraph of white text on a black background, and a small box to the right of the text that just said place an order. The text was the main part, though, as it took up most of the page.
What is he
Proceeded
trying
to
to
list
find,
all
though?
the forms of killing they were able to do. Again, I laughed. This had to be satire, right?
Damn.
Hell, I was even tempted to order it on someone, just to see what would happen.
Wow.
Better not to risk
Who?
it, though.
Who
I
though?
thought to myself. I was about to close my computer and call it a night when I heard a knock at the door. I live alone, so it was unusual to get visitors,
Right.
especially so late at night. But when I opened my door, it was just my good buddy Mark, who also happened to be my weed plug.
Right.
As I opened the door, he didn't hesitate to let himself in and shove a huge bag full of pot in my face. He said he got a really expensive kind and asked if I wanted to try some with him.
Damn.
I couldn't say no. Cut to a couple hours later. It's early morning, and Mark and I are chilling on the
alright,
couch.
they cool. I
Both
thought
completely out of it at this point. He suddenly decides to get up, and I assume he's going to get some leftover pizza. But he walks
Right.
over to my desk and computer. Slayer's Assassination? Are you gonna kill someone or something? He mutters.
Okay.
What? I replied. Your computer, dude. It's got some hacker stuff on it. It's the dark web, man. Don't mess with it, I said. At this point, I'm still on my couch, half asleep and not paying full attention.
Right.
However, I sat up pretty fast when I heard the words, "Hey dude, let's order a hitman on you." I got up and walked over to my PC. Part of my brain was screaming no, but at the same time, with the state I was in, the majority of my brain was thinking about how funny it would be to order a hitman on myself. So I agreed.
What
At
the
the
fuck?
end, after
Why
I wrote down all
yourself?
my personal details,
Who
like
orders-
my address,
who even
my
does that
age,
as fun?
and even a photo of me,
For
I had
fun,
to select
who
what I
does
wanted
that?
to happen to me. I just selected plain old assassination, as it was actually cheaper than some of the other things. Anyway, I placed the order, and then replied to the confirmation email, and boom, it was done. A couple clicks, and I had ordered myself a hitman on the dark web. Mark and I laughed for a while, but then he left about an hour later, and I fell asleep not too long after. I woke up around 9 a.m., which meant I got at least 6 hours of sleep, even if I felt like I got 3. I got up out of bed and brewed myself a coffee
about
before
sneeze.
sitting down to play some games and just enjoy my Sunday. But you can imagine how shocked I was when I saw I had ordered my own death the previous night. Even though I thought the site was BS,
does
I
that?
still felt a pit open up in my stomach. Even when I'm high, I can
My thing is, you better off just trying suicide. You know what I'm saying? Just try it yourself and then face God yourself. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm going too deep, but y'all get what I'm saying. He was better off doing that shit. Why would you go into the dark web? And then you don't even want to die. It ain't like he trying to commit suicide. Like, yeah, I'm gonna order a hitman on myself. He automatically don't even really. He's not even thinking about suicide. He's doing it for fun because the plug said, "This is why you don't do hard drugs." You know what I'm saying? This is, if there's any kids watching, which I doubt that there is, but you never know because kids be on the internet. But if there's any kids watching this, man, or anybody that's super underage, you know what I'm saying, and you really don't know, you know, and you've experienced with drugs and shit like that, and you at a young age watching this, man, just stop that shit. You know what I'm saying? This is a prime example. They showing you, this is like, to me, this seems like I said, I could be looking deeper into this, you know what I'm saying? It's super late at night. I'm high, you know what I'm saying? But off of weed, you know what I'm saying? Let's just get that clear, you know what I mean? This is why you don't do hard drugs. This is what I'm trying to say. This is why you don't do hard drugs. This is like a video that you would watch in school to put fear into children about not doing hard drugs and not doing drugs at all. But it's the prime example. He went from smoking weed. He said, "I love weed. I this, that." He went from weed to how they make it seem in real life. Like, oh, you go from weed and weed is going to turn to crack next thing you know. That's a lie unless you choose to do that. But, you know what I'm saying? that's what it made it seem like. He's like, yeah, I love weed at the beginning. He was like, I love weed. Da 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 da. Slowly went into, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I've experimented with drugs and this, that. And then not only that, I get the drugs from the dark web. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is crazy. Then him and his plug smoke. That wasn't just no normal weed, bro. Homies, there was something in that weed, regardless. Even if it was normal weed, they smoke so much of it to where their brain is already fucked up from all the other hard drugs that they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, the weed is the tip of the iceberg. Weed ain't even gonna do nothing, probably besides make you tired and shit. And their brain is already fried from the hard drugs, the crack, or what do you say, the meth and the, what do you do? Acid and coke. Or acid and meth or some shit like that, bro. Like, this shit's crazy, bro. This video's gonna be edited, man. This shit's crazy.
I can usually make sensible decisions. I chuckled. Not like I could remember it anyway. I would assume a normal human being would do something else, but I was still kind of out of it from the night before, so I just carried on with my day. I was a little paranoid, sure. But as I said, I just assumed it was BS. I even laughed at the email I got from the website, saying that the hitman had been dispatched and was on its way. Later that night, a blacked out sedan parked on the other side of the road from my house. I didn't see it arrive, but around the time I started to cook myself some dinner, I noticed it out the kitchen window. Now, I didn't live in a rural area, but there were a lot of trees and bushes between each of the houses on my street. So, I would be surprised if any other house saw the car except for mine. At this point, I was freaking out. What if the sight was real? Even though I'm a big guy, I was still freaking out. I don't own any weapons, aside from a slightly larger than average kitchen knife.
Right.
Screw it. I'm confronting it, I decided. I put on a hoodie and slid the kitchen knife into my front pocket before walking out of my house and right up to the driver's side window of the vehicle.
At least you got
Even
something,
I was
bro.
astonished at my own courage. I knocked
It's
on the
always good to
window,
have something.
but nothing happened. It was rather anticlimactic. I was fully prepared to have a fight for my life, all
Yeah,
because
you
I did
got that.
something really dumb while I was high off my mind.
Right,
But,
that's what I'm saying.
like I said, nothing happened. I even put my head right up to the window, as if there was a reflection, to try and get a better look to see what was inside. I could barely see anything, but I could make out 2 empty seats. No one was even inside. I had got all hyped up for nothing. I decided to wait out by the car for a bit, but after half an hour or so, I was hungry and had to go back inside to take my dinner out of the oven. I swear, it was only a minute between me going inside to take my dinner out of the oven and looking back out of the window that the car was gone. I didn't even hear it leave. Guess I'm eating my dinner with all my curtains closed and doors locked, I muttered to myself. I had just started to calm down when the power shut off. And coupled with the car, I now knew this was the real deal. I had signed my own death warrant. I ran into my upstairs bedroom and locked the door. I then hid under the bed. I figured I couldn't call the cops. What would I say? That I ordered a hitman on myself? So I just stayed hiding under my bed. And I still am now. I've been here for about an hour now. I know I'm screwed. Just a minute ago, I heard my back door slowly creak open.
A
Shit's
package
fucking
marked
crazy.
return to sender. My neighbor's one of those annoying wannabe YouTube personalities. Over the years, I've seen him cough out cinnamon, lay flat on the hood of his car as it slowly creeps down the driveway, and douse himself in lukewarm water. All the while screaming epic win, epic fail, or fuck, epic maintenance of the status quo, for all I know. It can be tiring to watch him go about his shenanigans in the pursuit of viral fame.
Right, some people just do
when he
too
knocked on my
much.
door the other day,
The
told me he was
cinnamon's
going
one
away for a
thing,
few
but like
weeks,
all that other
and asked that I
shit.
get his mail. Honestly, it was a relief. I can't explain the peace of mind I had knowing I didn't have to brace myself for any of his stupidity for a while. I was always afraid his stunts would wind up bleeding over into my life. Things were pretty normal for the first couple of days. He received a few bills, a bit of spam, and what I could only assume was a birthday card. Then, one evening, I got home to find a cardboard box waiting on his front porch, in big red letters written, "Return to sender." I'm no small fry, but I admit I had trouble lifting the box on my own. It was really freaking heavy. Lugging it across the road to my house was even harder. And I quickly realized there was no way I was going to drag it up the stairs through my front door.
Right.
I decided I'd leave his package in my garage. It wasn't like I kept my car in there. The garage door was a piece of shit that refused to open without a good thug or a whack.
Right.
It was less trouble just leaving the car in the driveway than it was to fight with the garage door every morning and night.
I'm
In hindsight,
tired, man.
I should have set the package down while I struggled to open the tricky door. But you know how it is when you've got a good grip on something.
Yeah.
No point in setting it down if you don't have to.
Pause.
It was as I kicked the door for a third time that
Why
I
you
lost my grip
gripping
on
on
the
that girl's
package.
ass? Like,
It
I
fell
was
to the
apart.
ground.
I didn't like the
I
way
heard
that
a light
sounded.
crack inside. Shit! I cursed. I hope I hadn't broken anything important, but figured I just wouldn't tell my neighbor about it and let him assume the break happened en route. Hands-free, I finally managed to get the garage door unstuck, and boy did it screech in protest as it rolled up and over me. I dragged the box the rest of the way, setting it in the corner for whenever my neighbor would come back to claim it. And then, I forgot all about it, until a few days passed, that is. I'm not exactly sure how long it took for the smell to waft in from the crack under the garage to the house door, but it came in slow progression. It was a sickly sweet odor smell similar to a skunk, and for the first few days after I smelled it, I genuinely assumed that's exactly what it was. Roadkill that had left its mark on my house. It was only when I realized the scent was growing more intense instead of fading away that I looked for a source. That's when I opened the garage door,
Right.
and that's when the odor knocked me back, holding my nose.
What
The
was
culprit wasn't hard to identify. The only change in my garage was the box in the corner.
it? Oh,
I remember thinking it
okay.
must have been one of those meat of the month subscription boxes. The meat must have gone rancid from being left out from the fridge for so long. How much meat could have been in there for the box to have been so freaking large and heavy? An entire freaking cow? I covered my nose as I approached the box, a pair of scissors in my hands. I probably wouldn't have needed them to open it, as it had become soggy enough at the bottom to poke through with a finger. But I wasn't about to poke my finger into spoiled meat juices. That soggy bottom was the reason I had to open the box in the first place. If I tried to drag it out whole, everything would spill out onto the floor. I was going to have to dump the pieces of meat one garbage bag at a time and take them down to the dumpster. A process I wasn't looking forward to. My scissors tore through the tape along the top of the cardboard box. I thought the smell couldn't get any worse, but as I flipped the flaps open, I discovered a whole new gamut of stink. It was like opening a burning oven, but instead of a heat wave, I was met with waves of piss, sweat, and shit, and putrefaction. It was so bad that I staggered back and had to force down the puke, begging to guzzle out of me. I don't think I could have handled that scent mingled with the horrors coming out of the box. I'm not ashamed to admit I ran out of the door for a breath of fresh air, but in the short time I'd spent in the garage, the smell had become so ingrained in the fabric of my clothes that it clung to me like a shadow. Nothing I tried could keep the smell out of my nostrils. Not air fresheners, not a face mask, not 3 showers and a change of clothes. Every second that the box lay open in my garage was another second the smell was allowed to foothold into my house. Was another second the smell was allowed a foothold into my home. I had to bite the bullet. I returned to the garage, the flaps of the box still open as though inviting me to look.
This shit is dragging on.
A clothespin
Don't
pinning
get
my nostrils
fucked up.
shut. A garbage bag in one hand.
You dragging
The
this shit, don't
strongest
get
cleaner I
fucked
could
up.
find in the other. And long rubber gloves to keep my skin from having to touch what was inside.
Right.
But as it turns out, I needed none of those things. I wouldn't have to touch or clean the contents of that box. I
Why?
would only have to suffer the nightmares every night. You see, there was meat in that box, but it didn't come from a cow or a pig. No, it was worse than that. It was my neighbor,
Oh
Dead.
shit.
still in one piece, but dead.
What the
I
fuck?
called the cops and naturally they took me in for interrogation. It's kind of hard not to suspect the man with the corpse in his garage after all. Thankfully, they soon realized I wasn't involved. My DNA might have been all over that box. The smell might have left a mark throughout my house. But there was one piece of irrefutable evidence in my neighbor's own hands that proved my innocence. A
What?
vlogging camera. They showed me the footage only once. I'm not sure if they were
Oh,
allowed
shit.
to, or if they felt so bad for me they figured it
That
couldn't
was
hurt.
cuz.
Either way,
Oh
I
shit.
saw it. My neighbor was sitting in the box outside of a shipping facility,
Right.
laughing as he
Okay.
told the world how he was going to mail himself across state lines.
Wow.
He brought pee bottles, food, a pillow, and a few flashlights. His friends, a guy I'd seen in his place several times to help with his stunts,
Right.
closed the lid and presumably dropped him off for shipment.
Oh my
Throughout
God.
the next couple of hours or days, I'm honestly not sure, my neighbor recorded a few short clips about his progress. I think I'm in a truck now. I can feel it moving.
Oh
Must be in a
shit.
warehouse. Pretty warm here. Still got plenty of food.
Oh me.
That kind of stuff. The box toppled over.
Oh
He
shit.
broke his neck, and that was it. The camera recorded until either the memory card got too full or the battery died.
Right.
There's one thing I didn't tell the police after they showed me the video.
Right.
One thing I heard in the footage that will haunt me to the day I die.
It was the full body.
Just after the tumble that broke his
I
neck,
don't know why I thought they cut
I
him.
heard the
It
familiar
must have been a big
screeching
box.
sounds of my garage door.
It's probably they sent him in a big box. Damn, screeching door and shit. Yeah, I don't know. This shit crazy. You know what I'm saying? This was MJV Animations. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? This dark web and that YouTube dude. That's the basically they saying don't do no extra shit. Just be yourself. You know what I'm saying? And if you gonna do some extra shit, don't do it like that. Like don't do it physically. You know what I'm saying? Like do it some other way. You know what I mean? But y'all have a good night, man. I guess I'll try to do a few more videos. Mob's his bitch, man.
5 kids, Jason Kidd, get it? Number 5 on that New Jersey, Pittsburgh slang, got the dips and the cheese for me. White, black, Asian, Puerto Rican, all get it up. If I'm on the north and it's hot, I'ma switch it up. All these hoes frontin', but they really try.